All right, there's a faster way to open almost anything in Windows, and most people never use it. Here are more than 20 run commands every Windows user should know right now. Welcome back. Today, we're covering Windows run commands, a fast, keyboard-driven way to open system tools, settings, applications, and diagnostic utilities without touching the mouse or navigating through menus. Let's open the Run box and get started. First, how to open the Run dialog. The quickest method is the keyboard shortcut Windows key plus R. A small dialog box appears in the lower left corner of your screen. You can also right-click the Windows logo and then click Run. Type your command and press Enter. No need to click OK. That's it. Now let's go through the commands. The first command is one of the most useful in Windows, msconfig. Type msconfig and press Enter. This opens System Configuration, a central hub for controlling how Windows starts and what runs at startup. The General tab lets you choose between Normal Startup, Diagnostic Startup, which loads only basic drivers and services useful for troubleshooting, and Selective Startup, where you manually pick what loads. The Boot tab gives you advanced boot options, including safe boot modes, and lets you configure boot timeout if you have multiple operating systems. The Services tab shows every Windows service and lets you disable specific ones for troubleshooting without permanently removing them. In Startup, you can click to open Task Manager. The Tools tab is particularly useful. It lists almost every built-in Windows diagnostic and management tool with a launch button next to each. It's essentially a curated directory of Windows utilities. Before we get to the second command, I have to pay for my coffee. If you're looking for cheaper Windows or Office product keys, check out Keysoft. Right now, you can get genuine Windows 11 Pro and Office 2021 Pro keys at a big discount. I've put a special promo link in the description. Just click it to access the deal. Once you're on the site, choose the product you need, add it to your cart, and use these codes, TIT50 for Windows and TIT62 for Office to get the best price. They support secure payments like PayPal and credit card, so it's quick and easy. After purchase, you'll receive your key by email. Then it's super easy. Go to Settings, open System, click on Activate Now, then Change Product Key, paste the key you received, and proceed to activate your Windows. Thanks to Keysoft for sponsoring this video. Command 2 is Event Viewer, the Event Viewer. Type Event Viewer and press Enter. Event Viewer is Windows' system log. It records every significant event that happens on your PC. Application errors, service failures, system warnings, driver crashes, and security events like login attempts. When something goes wrong on your PC, a random crash, a service that stopped unexpectedly, an application that keeps closing, Event Viewer is where you find the actual error code and description. Expand Windows Logs in the left panel, then click Application or System. Look for red error entries or yellow warning entries near the time the problem occurred. The Details panel at the bottom shows the full error description and often includes an event ID you can search online for specific solutions. This is the most underused diagnostic tool in Windows. Command 3, services.msc, opens the Windows Services Manager. This shows every background service running on your system, the core components that support Windows functions and third-party applications. Each service shows its current status, startup type, and description. For troubleshooting, this is where you start and stop individual services without rebooting. For optimization, this is where you disable services you don't need, like telemetry services, the WAP push message service, and others we covered in the optimization video. One important reminder, don't disable services you don't recognize. Stopping the wrong service can cause system instability. Research before disabling. Command 4 is regedit, the Registry Editor, for advanced users only. The Windows Registry is a hierarchical database that stores all system and application configuration settings. Regedit lets you view and modify these settings directly, which is powerful but dangerous. An incorrect registry edit can prevent Windows from booting, cause application failures, or corrupt system settings. Always create a system restore point before making any registry changes. That said, for users who know what they're doing, regedit enables modifications that aren't possible through any graphical interface, including many of the performance tweaks and privacy settings we've covered in previous videos on this channel. Command 5, msinfo32, opens system information. This is the most comprehensive system overview available in Windows. It shows your Windows version and build, processor model and speed, total and available RAM, BIOS version and date, installed drivers, running tasks, network adapter details, disk information, and much more, all in one place. When you need to gather complete system specs for troubleshooting, hardware compatibility checks, or support requests, msinfo32 is the definitive source. Command 6, devmgmt.msc, opens Device Manager. Device Manager shows every hardware component connected to your PC and the current driver status for each. Yellow warning triangles indicate driver problems. Red X marks indicate disabled devices. This is your primary interface for updating drivers manually, rolling back a driver that caused problems after an update, disabling hardware you don't use, and diagnosing hardware that isn't functioning correctly. After a fresh Windows install, check Device Manager for any yellow triangles. These indicate components without proper drivers that need attention. Command 7, diskmgmt.msc, opens Disk Management. This shows a visual map of every drive and partition on your system. From here, you can shrink partitions to create space for a second operating system, extend volumes when you've added storage, format new drives, assign drive letters, and identify the partition structure of each disk. We used this tool extensively in the Dual Boot series when creating space for Linux and when removing Linux partitions to recover space back into Windows. It's one of the most frequently needed system management tools. Command 8, cleanmg, opens Disk Cleanup directly. This is faster than navigating through settings to find storage. Type cleanmg, press Enter, select your C drive, and the scan begins immediately. Click Clean Up System Files to add the administrative categories, including previous Windows installations, the windows.old folder, and Windows Update Cleanup files. We covered how to use Disk Cleanup for maximum storage recovery in detail in our Storage Cleanup video. Command 9, Control, opens the Control Panel. Despite Microsoft pushing everything toward the Settings app, the Control Panel still contains tools and options that haven't been fully migrated. Power Options, Credential Manager, Network and Sharing Center, User Accounts, and several other utilities are faster to access through Control Panel than through Settings. You can also open specific Control Panel sections directly. Control Printers opens the Printers and Devices page. Control User Passwords To opens user accounts with additional local account options. Control Admin Tools opens the Administrative Tools folder. Command 10, appwiz.cpl, opens Programs and Features in the Control Panel. This is often more complete than the Installed Apps list in Windows settings, particularly for older software that doesn't register correctly with the Modern Apps section. Use this when Settings shows an app but doesn't offer an uninstall option, or when you're looking for a program you know is installed but can't find in the modern interface. Right-click any program to see options including Uninstall, Change, and Repair. The Repair option is particularly useful for fixing broken application installations without a full reinstall. Command 11, ncpa.cpl, opens network connections. This shows all network adapters on your system: Ethernet, Wi-Fi, VPN connections, and virtual adapters. Right-clicking any adapter gives you quick access to Properties, Enable/Disable toggle, and status information. This is where you go to manually configure a static IP address, set custom DNS servers, which we've covered in privacy optimization, or troubleshoot a specific adapter that isn't connecting correctly, much faster than navigating through the settings network pages. Command 12, firewall.cpl, opens Windows Defender firewall settings directly. From here, you can check firewall status across all network profiles: domain, private, and public. Allow or block specific applications through the firewall, and access advanced settings for creating custom inbound and outbound rules. If an application is being blocked from accessing the internet unexpectedly, checking and adjusting firewall rules here is your first stop. Command 13, powercfg.cpl, opens power options directly. This is the fastest way to access power plans, faster than navigating through settings. Go to Change Plan Settings and configure your preferences. Command 14, main.cpl, opens mouse properties. This surfaces settings that the standard Settings app doesn't expose: double-click speed adjustment, pointer precision settings, scroll lines per notch, and button configuration. The Wheel tab configures scroll behavior. If your mouse feels off and the basic settings slider isn't enough, main.cpl gives you the detailed controls. Command 15, dxdiag, opens the DirectX Diagnostic tool. This is primarily useful for gamers and multimedia users. It displays detailed information about your DirectX version, graphics card capabilities, display resolution and refresh rate, audio devices, and input devices. Each category has a Notes section at the bottom. If any problems are detected with that component, they appear there. When troubleshooting game crashes, display issues, or audio problems in applications, dxdiag gives you the exact hardware and driver details needed to diagnose and report the issue. Command 16, mdsched, opens the Windows Memory Diagnostic tool. We covered this in the CMD repair commands video. It tests your RAM for hardware errors. Type mdsched, press Enter, and choose to either restart and check immediately or schedule a check on the next restart. Symptoms that suggest running this are random crashes with no clear cause, blue screens showing memory-related error codes, and applications crashing unexpectedly on launch. Command 17, taskschd.msc, opens the Task Scheduler. Task Scheduler manages all automated tasks on your system: Windows maintenance tasks, application update checks, telemetry data collection, and more. You can view every scheduled task, disable ones you don't want running, and create your own automated tasks. This is where to look when you're trying to find what's running at specific times, particularly useful if you notice regular spikes in CPU or disk activity at predictable intervals. Command 18, Explorer, opens File Explorer. But the more useful variation is opening a specific location directly. This is significantly faster than opening File Explorer and navigating manually when you know exactly where you need to go. Command 19, calc, opens the Windows Calculator. Faster than searching for it, and more capable than most people realize. Beyond the standard calculator, Windows Calculator includes scientific, graphing, programmer, and date calculation modes. The Converter section handles currency, length, weight, temperature, speed, volume, and more. If you travel internationally, the currency converter is genuinely useful. Command 20, CMD, opens command prompt. For a standard command prompt, just type CMD and press Enter. For an elevated administrator command prompt, which most repair commands require, press Ctrl, Shift, and Enter instead of just Enter after typing CMD. This launches it directly with administrator privileges without requiring a right-click. From here, you have access to every repair and diagnostic command we covered in the complete Windows Repair Toolkit video: chkdsk, sfc, dism, netshish, ipconfig, winsat, and all the others. A few bonus commands worth knowing that didn't make the main list. sysdm.cpl opens system properties where you can manage computer name, domain settings, remote desktop, and system protection for restore points. gpedit.msc opens local group policy editor. Pro and Enterprise editions only. Enables deep system policy configuration not available through settings. Optional features. Opens Windows features, where you enable or disable built-in Windows components like Hyper-V, WSL, and Internet Information Services. Shell/Startup opens the Startup folder. Applications placed here launch automatically with Windows, a manual alternative to Task Manager's Startup Apps list. Shell:\appdata opens the appdata/roaming folder, useful for finding application configuration files and profiles. %temp% opens your user-level temp folder directly for manual cleanup. WinVer opens a small dialog showing your exact Windows version, build number, and OS edition. Quick and useful. 20 run commands, and every one of them is faster than clicking through menus to find the same tool. Once you have even 5 of these memorized, you'll find yourself reaching for Windows plus R constantly. All commands are listed in the video description for easy reference and copy-paste. Drop your most used run command in the comments. I'm curious which ones people reach for most often. A like and a subscribe helps the channel grow, and I post practical Windows tips and guides every day. Thanks for watching.